probably spend about 20 hours a week looking at comic book prices, making sure I'm buying stuff at the right price and listing and selling stuff at the right price. And every now and then I'll see a major anomaly where a book will have an abnormally high bump from a 9.6 to a 9.8. Or in all of these cases, with all of these books in this video, anything 9.6 or below that bumps up to 9.8, because sometimes you can get a 9.2 to bump up to a 9.8. I've had success doing that in the past, depending on the defect. So stay tuned for a future video where we go over literal examples of taking physical books, looking for the defects to see if they're good CPR candidates. But the first thing you need to do is make sure that the price increase makes it worth it. So in this video, we're going over a list of books that the price jump is so extreme that it absolutely makes it worth it. It could fund your hobby. I mean, it could pay your mortgage in a lot of these cases. There's a lot of money to be made, especially with the list from this video, but comic book CPR is a great side hustle and way to fund the hobby in general. It doesn't have to be these massive bumps, but it is a great place to start. And this would be a great thing to just keep a list of books that have massive bumps in your phone and just be on the lookout for them. Every time they come through my shop, I take a real close look to make sure there's not just easy money sitting there on the table. And stay tuned to the end of the video. We just got a really awesome Silver Age collection of high-grade Silver Age books, and I just want to show you guys. I was just getting real nostalgic, and just it's so awesome to see super high-grade Silver Age books, so stay tuned to the end of the video for that. Don't forget, we always do those 2 giveaways here on the YouTube channel and over at BryceComics.com. If you subscribe, comment, and like this video, you're entered to win 2 Spidey slabs, a vintage Spidey slab from the Wilbur collection, and a modern Spidey slab as well. Just subscribe, comment, and like this video, and you're entered to win that. And head over to BryceComics.com, sign up for the newsletters where you get first access to new collections like these Silver Age Grails that came through this morning. First announcements go out through the newsletter at BryceComics.com, and just by being subscribed, you're entered to win a vintage and modern Spidey this month over there as well. Follow us on Whatnot. We have a bunch of Whatnot shows scheduled every Friday for the foreseeable future to get through this massive amount of slabs. We got vintage slabs starting at $1. I do believe I'm the only one doing these consistent shows. I mean, it's just crazy to have such crazy inventory, and it's a really awesome opportunity. A lot of these books some of them go for 50% of FMV. Just ask anyone that's been to any shows. They've seen me take a bath on a lot of these, but it's a lot of fun. It moves product. We do a ton of giveaways, and there's a link down below to get $15 towards your first purchase if you're new to Whatnot. Follow me over on Instagram as well. Let's hop into the computer. First up, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 13. This is a book that has a huge bump from a 9.6 to a 9.8, and if we go and look at the census, there's only 9 9.8s total on the CGC census, but there's also only 173 total graded copies. Very, very low census count. It doesn't reflect how rare. I mean, it's not like a super rare book. I just think a lot of people aren't getting this book graded, especially when you go and look at like these lower grades, like a 9.2, 9.0, 8.5. I mean, it's not even really worth the cost of grading. But when you get up to that 9.6, 9.8 range is when you do start to see some value where it's worth getting graded. There's been several sales under 200, one for $94 here on Heritage, which was a very low sell. This is a tough book to get in 9.8 because of the paper quality. One of the biggest issues with this book is the staple area. It's just, you know, very common to see it like this. Sometimes you'll see it even more indented in like that. So it's a tough book to get in a 9.8. It would be a tough bump too. It's just a poor paper quality and, you know, a darker cover, all black back cover like this. But if you were to find a 9.6 that had just a non-color breaking finger bend or reader's crease or something that wasn't color breaking that could be pressed out, it would be a phenomenal bump, because here's another one that sold for $150. So they do sell, you know, relatively frequently for under the $200 mark, but over here for the 9.8, the last sale was $1,200, which was a low. I mean, the lowest it's been for a 9.8 since 2020 was $1,200. Next, we have Amazing Spider-Man 301. The very first homage to ASM 300 is ASM 301. I always get a kick out of that. Classic cover here from Todd McFarlane, and a huge bump from the 9.6 to the 9.8. 9.6 last sale was $177. Last sale of a 9.8, $13.82. Both of which, you know, are low sales, but you can see it's like more than a 5x, 6x markup to bump from the 9.6 to the 9.8. And this one has the same back cover, or a similar, not the same, but a similar back cover to ASM 300. ASM 300 has that James Bond back cover, but it's black like this. And so it's difficult because you get that spine stress, color breaking spine stress. But if you do find a good candidate, it's definitely worth going for that CPR for a 6x markup. If you go and look at the CGC census for this, 288 total 9.8s compared to 6,800 total graded copies. So you can see it just really drops off there to get to that 9.8 mark. Next we have X-Men 131. This is the first cover appearance of Emma Frost, the White Queen, and the second appearance of the Dazzler. Huge bump from a 9.6 to a 9.8. And if we go and look at the census, there's only 94 total 9.8s of this on the census compared to over 2,400 total graded copies. The last sale of a 9.6 was $236. The last sale of a 9.8 was $2,425, over a 10x markup to go from the 9.6 to the 9.8. Next on the list, we have X-Men number 107. And if we go and look at the census, this is the first full appearance of the Starjammers. This is a very impressive book. There's only 66 total 9.8 copies on the CGC census compared to 2,357 total copies. Just a very, very small percentage actually get that 9.8 mark. And the reason is for this Talon here on the cover. It just shows spine stress, makes it very difficult to get the 9.8. Also this area up here, just basically all of the edges of this book and poor paper quality lead this to be a very scarce book in 9.8. If we look at the CGC census, 9.6 last sold for $675, and a 9.8 strong, consistent sales around the $7,000 mark. Another one with more than a 10x markup if you can secure that 9.8. This book is very impressive, being the first appearance of the Starjammers. I mean, as far as key significance, there's a lot more significant X-Men keys than the first appearance of the Starjammers that go for way less in a 9.8, but it's the scarcity and the supply and demand that makes this just one of the grails for these Bronze Age X-Men. Next on the list, we have X-Men number 120, which is the first full appearance of Alpha Flight at 9.8. The last sale was $3,240 compared to the 9.6 last sale of $525. So about a 6x markup if you can bump it from the 9.6 to the 9.8. Definitely worth taking a close look at these. Again, another book with some dark front cover, but forgiving back cover. So you got that going for you. And that does it for this list, folks. I have a whole bunch more. So make sure you hit subscribe if you're interested. Just keep a list of these books. Set a search on eBay. Look for those 9.6s that have potential, because this could be a huge payday. I mean, some of these $5,000-$6,000 if you're able to find a good CPR candidate. So I'd suggest making a little list in your phone of books to look for bumps for, and subscribe to the channel because I have a whole bunch more of these videos coming. As I price these, I just add them to the list and we'll go over them and do reviews in future videos. So this collection just came in, and what a treat to see high-grade Silver Age keys. It's just so cool to see it. So I thought I'd throw it up on this video, tack it on. These, at the time of filming this, are available at brycecomics.com. Detective Comics $3.59 in an 8.0 with white pages. Origin and first appearance of Batgirl and Barbara Gordon. And just look at the colors. Good Lord. I've always loved this cover because of the colors. And in any grade, it looks great. But in high grade in particular, I mean, especially, imagine going even higher. Imagine seeing like a 9.6 of this with just the fading of the purples and the color strike. It's just a thing of beauty, folks. So this is an 8.0 with white pages, an extra little layer of cool there. You can see a little color breaking crease there, a little bit of spine stress. I mean, nothing crazy, but it's that color breaking crease, and then up here in the top right corner, another little color breaking crease. Now, the reason I wanted to show this in detail is we have a 7.0 right here. This is a 7.0, this is an 8.0. This is an accurate 8.0. I agree with the 8.0. So this 7.0, there is this crease here in the corner, and this crease here in this corner. And other than that, I mean, it looks really, really good. It's got a slight miswrap, but that shouldn't affect the grade that much. It does have some overspray up here at the top, distributor overspray. But, you know, it just goes to show the subjectiveness of grading. I think this presents beautifully for a 7.0. There might be, you know, something interior going on, something else to bring it down to that grade. 9.0 white pages, first appearance of Dane Whitman as the new Black Knight in 9.0 white. X-Men 14 in a 9.2. This is a beautiful copy, and the only thing I can really tell right here is this little crunch. I think it was probably dropped at some point, and that's what, other than that, I mean, this thing had a real shot at a higher grade. I mean, it's a 9.2, but the corners are sharp. Just a beautiful, beautiful copy from 1965. I mean, look at the colors on this thing. It's just so cool. One of the most striking things about high grade Silver Age books is the colors. You know, when you can tell that they just haven't been exposed to the elements that much. First High Evolutionary in a 9.2, First Kang in a 9.0, Avengers number 8. I mean, look at the art on this. To see, it's something about, sorry if I'm like fanboying a little bit over comics here, but there's something about seeing this artwork in close to the original form when it like rolled off the press, you know, like close to how it looked when it rolled off the press, because you're just so used to seeing Silver Age books in low grade that have been read and well loved and stuff like this, but seeing it in a 9.0 kind of takes me back to 1964. You know, I could put myself there in the shop, seeing it on the shelf, and, you know, just grabbing it and taking it home, rolling it up on the handlebars like Tom said. It's just cool. I don't know. I'm feeling nostalgic right now. 8.5 white pages of FF50 and a 9.0 of Journey into Mystery Annual number 1. The first appearance of Hercules and Zeus. Just a beautiful copy. 9.0. There is a reader's crease right here. So this was, you know, read and then preserved. It's just so cool to see. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Check them out at bricecomics.com. So there you go, folks. Just another list of books, another opportunity that you should investigate to have this hobby fund itself. It's so rewarding when you can crack a book out, get the bump, and get this huge payday. It's just really special. Or keep the book, you know, just keep the book for your PC. Know that you got that 9.8 for the price of a 9.6 is absolutely phenomenal feeling. Thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end of the video. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.